Something to say, the way you hold me, I wanna do. Do you still love me? Oh, oh, do you? Evening, Amy. What's up, fam? Greetings, salutations. How are you doing? I am on time. I am on time. I'm so on time. I'm giving you all the time to catch up. Y'all know it's been a roller coaster of a news day, and I have been on all of it. And with a little help, I get by with a little help from my friends when I miss something. You at work? What time you get off, Jay? What time you getting off? Your brain hurts? Well, can't check out yet. We got to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the ramifications. Y'all remember what I said about the Sean Combs trial, whatever he's calling his name this week? Y'all remember what I said last night? Well, I want all the mad people. You took some time earlier. You could. Yeah, I want all my apologies now. I know I'm never going to get any. Uh, now, Amy, and and I hate the idea that it seems like I'm coming across as defending Sean Combs, but let's admit why he's there. Let's admit why he's there. I was looking up. I was doing some research on what those charges usually carry when somebody gets those charges, and most of the first time offense for a charge that he was actually found guilty of is usually probation. Is usually probation. Now, don't get me wrong. Sean Combs personally, I would like to throw into an active volcano, but I can't get around the fact that I can't be silent in the fact of a system that failed and is trying to fall upward. It is trying to fall upward. What's up, Petra? The only reason he is there is because of the hotel video. Only reason he's there is because he's black. I have looked up cases. Look, that none of that would ever the judge did right because none of that would ever came in. I still can't wrap my mind around the idea that you subjected a jury to basically happy adult fun time videos, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean, I can't believe that I would have been on a jury and you subject me in open court to watching not one freak off, but three or four of them. What? What was the point in that? Greetings, Shay. What was the point in that? But let's put it together. Like I say, and I do not want to be the defender of Sean Combs. I do not. But people put you in these positions when they still do stuff that is just racist. The judge looked at all that. Judge knows all that. And still, the charge he's facing, first time offender, is going to carry about 24 months, 24 to 27 months, if that. It should only be probation if they're going in line with the things that other states' attorneys say they would have never charged for. You failed on your RICO charge. You failed by putting two women up there that were in long term relationships with him. And I don't care. Listen, before you all get mad at me, and talk about I'm not sensitive to the what's going on. No, that was a bad step by the prosecution. Cassie spent too much time on that stand, and there were too many text messages and exchanges between her and him that didn't seal the deal. I'm not saying she wasn't abused. I'm not saying any of that. But I'm also saying that Giselle is in prison. If you know, then you know. Anybody who really follows cases like I do know Giselle is in prison and she participated and I think, it is what it is. Do you know Cassie got paid $30 million? I know Cassie Is not hurting for financial money now. Yes, I know the settlement. I actually know the settlement. I can't believe you asked me that, but I actually know the settlement because I read transcripts and I read the settlement agreement. Actually, I read it on live when she first got it. That started all this. Hi, I'm a woman, and I've been in situations where some of it looked bad, or at max, some house arrest. Right, at max. Welcome to my show. And for those of you all who know, we are streaming live. This is a simulcast of my radio show. Thank you for joining me. GCPR Network, thank you for having me. And yeah, you all are getting this. This is a little detour. It's not a little detour. I can't say it's a little detour because this is what we do every night. But we talk about news topics and we talk about them from the uniquely black point of view of TNathan. That's why it's called Conversations with TNathan, and not conversations with everybody. Welcome to Conversations with TNathan. It is 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. No, it's 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And wherever you are in the world, thank you for tuning in on the GCPR network. I am never late. I am always on time because it's my show. So let's get into it. I've been told over and over a bunch of them were only after the money. Anywho, did you see Fitzpatrick vote no on the resolution and they all went crazy? Yes, I'm actually watching in real time on C-SPAN and CNN, and I'm waiting for the vote to flip. Petra is telling me that there was an X message out um, about a flipped vote, and I'm waiting for that because we know that the Republicans can only lose three right now. They're at four. Some of the witnesses are still getting their rent paid by P. Diddy. True, true that too. True that too. And this is, like I said, I was not surprised that they threw out. Listen, and I was telling you all the other night how people are so scared of the feds. I have federal charges. I was so scared of the feds, right? And they say the feds, they don't do this. The feds have their record is based upon the fact that they take a lot of plea deals. Yes, they do have a high conviction rate because they take a lot of plea deals. But if you have the money and the ability to take the feds to court on something that they overcharged you on, how many times did I tell you all that the RICO Racketeering Act was an overcharge? And people were like, oh, I don't like P. Diddy. I haven't liked Sean Combs since Biggie. I never thought he was talented. Billionaire? Yes. Talented? No. Yeah. But I also wanted people to tell me that were running around here telling me what Jaguar Wright was saying about Beyonce and Jay-Z coming next. Why nobody's talking about, listen, I'm a firm believer. If I say something that is incorrect, I correct it. If I do something that is incorrect in the form of information or knowledge, I correct it. That's why I don't speak on things unless I research them. Yeah, you older, and this was nothing more. And I said when it happened, I said, you all got every black celebrity, every successful black person participating in these freak offs because you don't like black success. You Denzel, Denzel was at a Diddy party. Everybody was at a Diddy party. Leonardo DiCaprio was there, but freak offs were not what people were telling you. They were like, "Oh, it's gonna come out that Puff Daddy and Jay Z and Beyonce, they all going down." Where those people at now? The chick Jaguar right gets on my damn. Listen, listen. And then when I was telling people she backslid and that they were wondering why Jay Z and Beyonce went after Pierce Morgan, and they were like, "Oh, they just trying." No, they were right. Why can't people have that same energy and apologize? Why can't they? Oh, you capping for rich people now? I'm capping for the truth. I just want to know because if you told me you're not responsible enough to apologize for your ignorance, because that's what it was. There was nothing. If y'all get mad about my gum, I can't help it. One of the crumb snatchers gave me gum, and I'm not spitting it out right now. It comes crumb snatcher gum. It's gum getting chewed. Yeah. So if you got a problem with me chewing gum, radio don't have a problem with it. I will turn off the camera. But no, I won't. I'm just gonna chew this gum. Crumb snatcher gave me this gum, so y'all just in trouble. Chewing gum will get you restricted. Just don't pop it. I've not really been a gum popper, but yeah, crumb snatcher shared gum with me, and I'm gonna chew this gum. So yeah, I just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Being black while chewing gum. Inquiring minds want to know. All those people, and you all remember the whole conversation I had about Justin Timberlake? I mean, Justin Bieber, and I said that wasn't going to come up in this because Sean Combs' type was not little white boys. Y'all remember me saying that? Anybody? Anybody remember me saying that? Okay. I know. I told y'all that. I said none of those people y'all talking about are going to come up in this. I said that because once I learned what freak offs were, I was like, yeah, all that's wrong. All that was wrong. But you know, just another day. Just another day at the office. Meal for those who have to be homeless is tomorrow, by the way. Um, yep. I remember you said nobody with money is going to be brought up. Right? I said that because it wouldn't make sense. It didn't make sense. All of it. Y'all had every black person in Hollywood except Tyler Perry there. I had every black person. Oprah, Beyonce. Hell, if Whitney wouldn't have been dead, y'all probably would have had her there. All of these people protect. That just shows me what you all think. Because nobody put Donald Trump there. He took pictures with P Diddy. And if we have to go with who who has posed nude that we have seen, as opposed to I have never seen a nude photo of Beyonce, not in the same manner that I've seen some of the first lady that I would like to unsee. But nobody brought them up. I just watched Tyler Perry movie Straw. You poor thing. You poor thing. You watched that movie even afterwards. You brave. You brave. Thank you, Rush, for nothing. Petra, listen. Okay, it's 208 Republicans, and they need four of them have said no. They need to flip one Republican, and Petra says they're going to flip one according to a report on X. But right now, do all of the work Mike Johnson right now. He has to convince almost a dozen people to change their minds on this bill or at least be willing to get with the president's agenda here. And obviously, they felt like they needed to take this to the floor in part because they have been meeting behind closed doors all day long. And you can have these conversations in private. Muting. There are eight no votes. There are eight people who have not voted. There are four nays already. There are eight people on the sidelines that have still not voted on. Yeah, it's a procedural vote, but it tanks the bill. If we could tank the bill at this procedural vote, that's a good showing. Get with the people's agenda and tax the 1%. Bravo. But while we wait we'll be following that on and off, and I'll come back to it, and I will talk about what I got up here. Um, got that going on. We got the one big beautiful bill up here also. So I can talk about the certain sections I wanted to talk about. But before we get to that, I want to talk about a story Petra brought to my attention today and had to read over it. So the Pentagon had a surplus. The Pentagon had a surplus of 404 million dollars, I believe. Um, yeah. And guess what they decided? Guess what Trump decided to do with the surplus? Petra, don't answer. Can y'all decide? Can y'all guess what Trump decided to do with said surplus? Yeah. Can you? $400 million. $400 million. Yep. The new plane. But no, at least $400 million over the next few years, a Pentagon spokesman confirmed, will be spent on converting the luxury 747 passenger plane, which the Qataris gave him as a gift this past May. Yep, 400 million of the surplus dollars are going to that plane. And it's probably going to wind up costing closer to $1 billion. But we know that 400 million of it is going to the plane. Yeah, 400 million. I think Tetra, it's the payback. You're thinking of the payback over 4 or 5 years is probably $1 billion, but they do it by year. Spread out. One of the contracts they had basically was has been canceled, and they're going to have 400 and some billion million dollars, and 400 they've already allotted it to the plane. But let's not fear. Let's not even worry about that. Let's not even think about that. That is not a thing. Let's not even think about feeding the homeless. Let's not think about shifting money to children that are not going to get school lunch programs. No, let's not take that money and put back into the budget and spend it on something else. No, let's spend it on refurbishing. Yeah, 1 billion. It says the installed all the communication and other high tech gear will actually wind up costing close closer to $1 billion, and it probably won't be finished till Trump is out of office. We're gonna spend $1 billion on a plane, refurbishing it to not even use it, just to put in a presidential library. At this point, just give him the plane. Just give him the plane as is. I don't care. Before we pump $1 billion in this plane, just give him the plane as is and tell him he can go park it in his presidential library right now. Matter of fact, we'll keep. It'd be cheaper to just keep it cleaned and keep it in good condition until he get ready to get out of office. Cheaper and everything. Wherever you want to fly it after that, fly it. At this point, you've already did the worst part, accepting the plane from the Qatar. You've done that. What more? Show the total cost of the plane also. Yeah, 1 billion. It did. I got that. If I'm repeating myself, if I repeated it, I'm sorry. Um, who is going to pay for the storage after? Also, it's going to be in the presidential library. Like I said, it's still cheaper than $400 million to pay for the storage and to fly wherever the hell he wants it to be flown at after he gets out of office. It's still cheaper than $400 million. Well, $1 billion by the time they finish. Look, we can go land it on the airstrip at the detention facility they built down in Florida. Did y'all see my video on that? I made a, I don't know. Did they? I think I've taken to putting in every reason they've flagged my videos in the comment section of the video. Yeah, at first, no, I don't think. I don't think Trump is actually. I don't think Trump knows exactly what's in his one big beautiful bill. He says things that lets me know he doesn't know. I don't believe he knows anything that's in the one big beautiful bill. Would you listen? As a grown ass man, I really have a problem calling this bill by its name. I just want to say that. As a grown ass man, I have a problem with calling this bill by its name. All right, let's see. Did they? Hold on. I want to see. I want to see if they had muted my video. Hold tight. Uh, Hold tight. She said one big beautiful Bill Clinton. Let's see. Hey Robert, what are you up to? All right, I'll get out the way. All right, listen to the video.
So let's talk about this so called detention facility built in
On
a
it.
swamp in Florida, surrounded by alligators and pythons
If
that
you
they
know,
have
then you know.
nicknamed
We're talking
Alligator
about.
Alcatraz. And I'll get to the alligator part in just a moment. But if you would have saw
Listen up.
concentration camps when they were first built before people were moved into them, they would look like this also. And what is it with racists and bigots that they seem to be obsessed with this idea of black and brown people being eaten
Amy,
by alligators?
Snakes are
we're coming
bad,
back to that, Amy.
but alligators are good. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison. How to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay?
That little chuckle at the end convinces me that they know their history, like history of feeding black children to alligators for sport. And this obsession with feeding black and brown children to alligators is not something that was confined to slavery or even Reconstruction. These kinds of
Tracy,
postcard
really?
depictions were sent around the country during Reconstruction and into Jim Crow. These references and little snide jokes to alligators and black and brown people are nothing new. And if you chuckle at them, that's mostly because you're a racist, a bigot, or a rocket raccoon, or somebody who carries the bucket of white supremacy for them. And you need to be dealt with accordingly. Let's see how your meat tastes to alligators.
Yes, that is accurate history. I mean, the postcards, the references, all that. When I first heard Alligator Alcatraz, that was going to be the name of the nickname of a detention facility for migrants that are mostly black and brown. Yeah, because we have a history in this country of, and this is the thing, not just slavery. I'm talking about from Reconstruction to lynchings and the era of Jim Crow, all the way. That was a thing. That was a thing. Alligators eating black people. It was a thing. Postcards, lynching, second only to lynching postcards, were sent around. The cards you see that I put in the video, those are actually cards, and you can see the year. Hold on, let me go back. Show you something.
Little chuckle at the end.
Look at the year. Can you see the year on that? That's 1901. That's 1901. That was used in advertisement.
This is me that
That was
they
used
know
in
their history,
advertisement.
like history of feeding.
A dainty, as it literally says, a dainty morsel. Licorice drops. Yeah. So when I hear this and I put together, and I was like, yeah, y'all know y'all history better than y'all think we do. You know the reference. Like that just what came to mind. I watched the doc on the postcards. I can't recall what it was, but it was very well done. Did you are you talking about the lynching postcard? Because that one, if you watch the one called there's one called Without Remorse. No, Without Sanctuary. It's based on the book I have over here. It's called Without Sanctuary. Yeah. And it tells the story of lynching postcards and the lynchings. And I hate you know how I hate misinformation. So I was telling somebody, because if you mention, if I watch people make videos, right? And I think people think you can make videos and quote people, and people don't know you're quoting them like you're using them as your own words. And I read so much. I remember quotes. There's certain quotes that stick with me. Passages, whole passages of books stick with me. So I'm. Did I make a video on it? I don't think I made a video upon it yet. But it's a place called Thomasville, Georgia. It's the South. It's the South. And this person sent me a video of this young lady talking about lynching trees. And she was talking about this tree in Thomasville, Georgia, that was a lynching tree. And this tells me about how much people understand Southern culture sometimes, right? If you notice, when I was at the lynching museum, as I call it, people don't like me to call it that, I talked about the history of lynching and gave you the round through. But I remember Thomasville, Georgia, because there were several lynchings that took place there, especially in the 30s, right? Especially in the 30s. One of the most famous ones is William Lacey, and he was lynched because exchanging words with a white woman. So, but the thing about Thomasville is another thing is about they have this old ass oak tree there. And the person was making reference to the oak tree was a lynching site. One thing about the South, they don't have a problem with um, putting plaques up at places of lynchings. They don't. I tell people all that time. It's like, people in the South have reverence for certain things. I told them that the tree they talking about is not a lynching tree. And of course, we get met with, oh, it's documentation. I deal with documentation. And I say, I know it's not a lynching tree because the tree you're referencing is over 350 years old. And not only that, it has been referenced. The white people wouldn't have lynched black people from that tree because there was that kind of reverence for that tree. They wouldn't have lynched black people from that tree when there are many other trees that they can lynch black people for. They go through a lot to keep that tree up. It has chains, cables that support the limbs so it doesn't fall down. They have all. I mean, one time it got struck by lightning, and they would like to lose their mind going to save the tree. No, see, that's the thing. When you understand the culture in which lynchings happen or the disdainment for black people happen, you understand that they wouldn't have soiled their tree with our death. I saw those. Just so sad. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Maybe. Very true. My father told my sisters and I about it. What's up, Abel? Oh, are you from Georgia? Might be that I have to look. I have to look. I have it saved. Okay, let me know. But I would. I have a book. I have a book called Without Remorse. I mean, I keep saying remorse. Without Sanctuary, and I don't. I know I can't show the book on here, and I know I can't show the front of the book. I have a book. I can't show the front of the book. But you know me, I'm probably gonna show the front of the book. Hold on, let me put it back together. It has this little red flap on it. What's on the back? Oh, I guess we can show the feet. We can show the feet of lynching victims, right? And the reason it's on the back is because it's supposed to be on the front. Because I have it on upside down. Now, this book is called Without Remorse. I mean, this book is called Without Sanctuary. I'm just gonna put the name of the book up here. This is the name of the book. Can you see that? It's called Without Sanctuary. Without Sanctuary. I can't show you the top of the book, but this is the book, and this goes up here like that to show the feet. And this book, every photograph in this book was taken by a white person, and most of these photographs wind up being lynching postcards. And every one of these is documented. It's I don't know if you know who Ida B. Wells is, but Ida B. Wells went through the South, and she put together Well, she was a member of the NAACP, a founding member, as a matter of fact, and she went through and she compiled the first definitive work on lynchings in this country, right after slavery. People don't realize how many of lynchings took place in this country after slavery. In my state of Mississippi, there was 581 lynchings that took place after slavery. In that, because we don't, you, the ones doing slavery, you don't even count because we weren't citizens and we were property. So they were basically, basically, you had a better chance of not being lynched during slavery than you did after slavery because you only want to damage your property so much. Beating us, that's fine. You can heal and you can get back to work. Lynching us, that was considered, and it's when I tell people this, this tells me how many people really don't understand the inflection of history and how chattel slavery and black people were property. We were property to the fact that yes, we had a better chance of living during slavery than we did once we were liberated from slavery without any protection. Because no, we're no longer your property, and you don't care what happens to us. If we talk Malvi to you, you like, okay, we just lynch them. Yeah, we just lynch them. So that's what happened a lot. That's why there's so many lynchings after slavery than there were during slavery and during that period of time. So, quick history lesson. So now you know when you hear somebody talking about lynchings and they be talking about, they don't know what they're talking about. Black, white people, the charity people believe that racist white people that owned slaves showed us was not any charity at all. It was an investment. Chattel slavery was about property. You had to just maintain just enough to keep them alive and keep them working 16-hour days. That's it. So, but that book is called Without Sanctuary, and there are hundreds of stories of lynchings in there with pictures. And I tell people all the time, it's like black people didn't have cameras. Black people didn't have the cameras. They say it's 4,000 years after slavery until 1968. Allegedly, there were more. Oh, at the Lynching Museum, I think the number is 18,000. I know Mississippi had 581, and it was one of the highest states. And also, we only count documented, documented lynchings. All right. That's what I don't deal in, people deal in conjecture. Grandmother told me a story that her grandmother told me. No, document it. I can document the ones I talk about. The ones in these books are documented. You know, not to say that secrets didn't happen, but I don't have to deal. I don't have to enlarge numbers with secrets or conjecture when the number of documented lynchings is astounding. Well, I hear that, and I hear that, and I think people want to. Sometimes when you all embellish, your live is not eligible for recommendation. It primarily directs people off the platform. Well, hold on. Yeah, on YouTube, y'all can see this. Y'all get to see this. Always something. Hold on. My live does not contain. I have not mentioned anything before that. My live, yeah, that's just a warning that tells me my live has been restricted. They always come up with something new. Lately, they've been going for the same one that I'm directing people off of the platform. But anyway, if we stuck to just telling what we can document, some people don't realize that. What convolutes the situation because everybody come with their own set of ideas and opinions. I come with facts. If you ask me about a lynching that I can tell you about, I can tell you the date, the time, and the place, all of that. And I'm talking about thousands of them, thousands, and I can back that up. And I think it's very important for us to talk about what we can prove definitively as opposed to some. That's how Elizabeth Warren thinks she's descendants of. Um, yes, I went there. That's how Elizabeth Warren thinks she's a descendant of indigenous princes, even though they didn't have such thing. Because my grandmother told me that story. So how could it not be true? Because you have no documentation of it. You have no documentation of it. It's currently on Paramount, unfortunately. What's the name of it? Lynching postcard. Yeah. Token of a great day. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that one too. I've seen that one too. And I would play it. I want to play 13. I want to play 13. I wonder how much of 13 TikTok will let me play. Have you all seen 13? 13? She's special. She special, real special. Stop it. Yeah. I think I've played. Rain, have I played 13? Yeah, I don't do. I mean, I just download it from my bootlegger and play it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my first appeal wasn't approved. My appeal was not approved. Shocking. Shocking. Let's see what this one says. Mm, yeah. I want you to tell me. Let's try again. And then you can't even say, excuse me, you can't even say I got it up in the background because that's TikTok in the background. Well, on the screen up under me. I tried the waffles with ice cream and it was good. Yeah, waffle with ice cream is good. What did you ever say? What right. Thank you. Thank you. Um and I consider it a form of salutations because I will burst into flames. The Orisha won't let that happen to me though. The Orisha and the ancestors won't let that happen to me. Um, yeah. Stop it, goddess. I'm telling the Orisha on you. I'm telling the Orisha on you, goddess. Mm. I like my new bracelets. I like my new bracelets. Uh, Yeah. I just thought I'm gonna wear the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Set. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm innocent like Pinky until proven guilty. Yep, sending you the baby white Jesus Pope too. Um, so molted be. So molted be. I'm sending you to baby white Jesus Pope also to get the demon out of you because Risha passed on Pinky's demon. They were like, that's a baby white Jesus problem. So real quick, this is side note. Let's see if they've taken this one down yet. Oh, let
Peach
me know. Somebody let me
cobbler
know.
catfish.
Make it make sense. Somebody tell me.
Peach cobbler catfish, y'all. Special request. They don't eat nothing else but fish. So she asked if I can make her some peach cobbler catfish.
Excuse me. Excuse me. One moment.
Right. But I understand that chief security. What in the ninth circle of hell is this? I
Okay.
understand chief security.
I'm back. What the hell? Who? Who? Peach cobbler what?
Listen,
Catfish? I am from the South. The Deep South.
I'm just angry.
Mississippi Deep South.
Well, we can
And
talk
I need
tomorrow
somebody to
after
explain
I
this to me.
finish.
Who eats this? I have
We can
never
talk
heard
tomorrow.
of the idea of peach
I
cobbler
don't have
catfish.
school is out
Who's eating
until
this?
Monday. I'm fat and I don't
Yep.
even eat that.
And if you
Listen,
eat this, I'm looking at you sideways. I'm looking at you sideways. Somebody tell me in the comment section.
just like if I had to see it, so that you all did you send me that video, Jay? The original? Is that because that's what I got sent? I got sent the video if I had to see it, so did you all. And that's why I made this video because I want somebody to explain it to me. Listen, I was today years old when I learned about sliced mayonnaise. And then to realize they said there was a sliced ketchup out there too. But this, I'm from Mississippi. I mean, I'm from the south, I'm from the southern part of Mississippi. I'm from the what is literally the deep south. I am literally from the deep south. But I want somebody to explain that to me. I saw that and I was like, does this I had to rub it to make sure that it was actually a part of my being. If I had to eat peach cobbler catfish, I'm turning my card in. If that was a requirement to keep my card, mm-mm, nope. Good food too. Oh my God, I saw the sliced mayonnaise. I was like, what? Right. I was like, I know mayonnaise is fat, but I don't. And then I couldn't even call it a white thing because it's made in Japan. I couldn't even call it a white thing. I was like, when I first heard about it, I was like, you white people in it again. Find out it was in Japan. There's a Japanese company that makes it. Right, Amy? No, it's a Japanese company. Sliced. I said, this is what we're gonna get. You're gonna be able to go to this, and it's like slices of cheese. So you can go to the store, buy you some pack of sliced mayonnaise, a pack of cheese, pack of sliced ketchup, get you some deli meat, and you ain't even got to do anything but take them, slice them, put them on the microwave. Put it on your cold cut, and you good to go. Put it on your Chad. Look, I know I got a big bag, but never ever would I eat. I'm serious. I was feeling some kind of way when I saw peach cobbler catfish. Oh, let's see. Let me see why they restricting this video. This video, your video sharing comment on prayer and God. Okay, that one hasn't been restricted yet. I just made that one. My one on alligators and black children was restricted because that video contained explicit of age consumption of alcohol, tobacco, or other drug use. The video where I'm talking about alligator Alcatraz. And my video talking about P. Diddy today was restricted for complex themes. I just can't win. I give up. I'm really not trying to win. At this point, it's just funny to me. I only eat dinner and just listen so I don't have to see whatever it is. So I want to know who's eating it? Who's eating peach cobbler catfish? Who's asking some? I'm looking at you sideways. I, and I say, some of y'all are pregnant and y'all might have cravings. Have any of y'all ever craved peach cobbler catfish? Anybody? Anybody? I don't want to, I don't want to devalue. I don't want to devalue things I don't have an experience in. And since I've never been pregnant, because if the human race had to depend on me to survive by carrying a child, whatever it took to have a child isn't coming near me. I'm just sorry. I'll be celibate if I have to be celibate. I crave hot wings when I was pregnant. Absolutely not. Listen, listen. I hate to break it to you, Siren, but this was not created by a white person. This was not created by a white person. They said they only ate catfish. They only ate catfish, and they wanted some catfish peach cobbler. I don't even know what is it called. Is it called catfish peach cobbler or peach cobbler catfish? I don't know. Whatever it is, it should be illegal. Whatever it is, it should be illegal. I'm trying to get this put in that one big beautiful bill. I'm trying to. Look. I'm telling Republicans, put this in the one big beautiful bill. Go ahead and deny it also. A volcano. That's why I'm gonna put the bill at after. But I want this in there. This needs to be illegal. That's some Josh and his mama type. I don't even know if Josh and his mama will go this level. Y'all think? No, I don't even think she doesn't listen. And the catfish, I don't eat catfish. If you know me, I don't eat. I'm not big on fried foods, and I don't eat catfish. I mean, if boneless chicken, I can do as long as it's not fried. But if you fry anything in catfish that you fried shrimp, seafood, or catfish in, I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. I can taste it. I'm not eating it. But the catfish is golden. The peach cobbler looked like it would be popping on its own. But why? 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 Check text. I found the person who eats, who eats. That's why I got the original. That's the original video. That's why I got the original video from Petra. Yeah, that's why I got the original video for. I want to know who she was making it for. Yeah, she said she got a special request for it. Yeah, no, I want to know. I want to know. I need names. I need names. I need names. We need to make sure that that person is treated accordingly. That should be a crime. And Josh's mom really thinks she's showing out too. That's what's scary. That Slice Mano TikTok came across my For You page, and I blame you. I'm blaming Olivia for this one. I'm blaming Olivia for this one. See, they in Detroit. Mount up, y'all. Who gonna get to Detroit first? Mount up, cause we got questions. We got questions. Yeah, I got questions. Can you imagine me making this one meal? I'm gonna make for those who happen to be homeless. I'm gonna do the meal and make peach cobbler catfish. I'm even going if they eat that mess. I'm, I need to go in I need to go in the restaurant where this was made and just stalk and see who orders it. Me, that's 4 hours away. We ride it down. Listen, listen. I need to go there. I need to be in the restaurant when someone orders this. I need to see who orders it. I need to see who. Before I can't even go off on this properly. I can't. Y'all gonna ride it down from Chicago. So Ja Rule's daughter got married recently, right? And I thought it was such an Ja Rule, if you know, you know. His daughter got married recently, and it was just such a cute. It was cute. Yes, you know. So I was had these visions. Watching him dance with his daughter on the dance was just yeah. And you know how I never really had anything against Ja Rule. I just wasn't a big Ja Rule fan, but watching him dance with his daughter and realizing there are a lot of rappers that started out with him that didn't make it because of all kinds of reasons, and to see him living his best life, dancing with his daughter at his wedding, that's winning. That is winning. I sent you her video. Yeah, that is winning. Yeah, I found her cooking it at home. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Is that the video you just sent me? Okay, I'll see the. That's not. That's catfish and peach cobbler. That's not peach. Okay, I see the peach cobbler. I don't see them. Yeah, that's not. That's peach cobbler's on the side. Yeah, that's not the same thing, Petra. Yeah, that's peach. That's the cornbread. The catfish. The catfish is on top of the mashed potatoes. Yeah, I don't eat. But you're talking to somebody who don't eat catfish either, though. Yeah, the catfish is on top of the peach cobbler. Means on top of the potatoes. The peach cobbler's not even on that plate. That's some kind of jambalaya on the side with sausage in it. Yeah, that's not the same. Okay, get the bus. We all going. Yes, just make sure you make a donation to the bus fund up here. This is the bus fund. This is the bus fund. Listen, I'm calling my mom. I'm calling my mom tomorrow. Tell her to send me some money because I spent all my money on food. But yeah, she got. I'm gonna be like, what do you need? I'm like, listen up, mom. You love me? My mom calls me her bratty son, right? And I'm like, mom called me bratty. I was like, you the only one that can call me bratty, mom. Yeah, other people you cuss out. Yeah. But it's a running joke between us because I'm the opposite of bratty, right? And that's the running joke. Jay's home. Jay, you home early. You got home early, Jay. How'd you get home so early? My replacement came in early tonight, so I'm home early. Okay. So yeah, she just calls me a bratty son because she like you're just the opposite of bratty. Oh, sign out of GCPR? I haven't cussed yet. All right, we got one more minute. One more minute. I'm not. Give me one more minute. I haven't cussed yet. I'm doing good. It's a Wednesday night, and I cussed tonight. I haven't cussed, have I? I found her name is Chef. Yeah, I got the original. Yeah, I know Goddess. That's why I got the original. That's why I was sent. She has another video with peach cobbler and wings. Yeah, I after I saw the peach cobbler and catfish, I wasn't staying on her page. Yeah, peach cobbler is not a condiment to be put. No. Next thing I know, people be mixing hot sauce with peach cobbler, and I like peach cobbler. A good peach cobbler with the crusty crust is just chef's kiss. But the idea of me seeing peach cobbler, just imagine if you cut into your peach cobbler and you found catfish in there or wings. A TNathan minute equals 10. I'll prove y'all wrong. Hey GCPR, they hating on y'all. Yeah, they hating on y'all. There, so no, seriously, I'm gonna sign out. I'm trying to get better with the time, unless there's something really going on and we go over and we want to talk about. But I appreciate you all. But y'all have a nice night. I'm not gonna do 3 hours because I'm that guy when someone says I do something, I have to prove them wrong. So just to prove 10 minutes is not a minute to me. Y'all have a nice one. See you tomorrow. Same Wakanda station, same Black Panther time, same host, T Nathan. Conversations with. Peace. Oh yeah, tomorrow is also a meal for those who happen to be homeless. All right, peace out. All right, so all right, Jay's home. GCPR is over. I have y'all cannot tell me where this catfish is coming from. What in the hell is pickled pig peach cobbler? What is that? What is that? What is that? Pickled with what? What? You got to explain yourself, Chief of Security. That's in her video too. I don't. That doesn't sound appetizing. Pickled. Pickled what? Pickled involves vinegar. Mm. People just be pickling everything. Pickling involves vinegar. I know you're not pickling the peaches to make peach cobbler with. Look, I'm beginning to realize I am nowhere near. Yeah. I can't compete. So you pickled peaches? How do you pickle peaches? I know how to I know preserve peaches, but what are pickled peaches? I need a drink. I need a drink. Mm, I need a drink on that one. We have sliced mayonnaise. There's nothing off limits. No, I can't live in a world where people pickle. Listen, nothing off limits to you all. I'm not eating slice. I don't like mayonnaise anyway. I have to qualify that because in the past I say I don't eat mayonnaise, and I don't. I like to believe I don't, but I like. There's this mayonnaise they have at this restaurant I had, and it was the garlic. It had garlic, and it was a garlic based mayonnaise, right? And at first it was just called it was the sauce that they served. And I asked them what, and it was good. I was like, yeah, it was seasoned. It was seasoned. And I said, what's in here? And he was telling me what's in there, and he was like, what's the base? He said mayonnaise. I was like, I guess I eat mayonnaise now. I I guess I eat mayonnaise now. Yeah, it's mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise at the base. And then I always told you all, for some reason, I just can't eat mayonnaise. But I do Miracle Whip. If I'll do Miracle Whip, but I won't eat mayonnaise. If it's like blue plate and all that, I'm not eating mayonnaise. Yeah, but the base is mayonnaise. So I guess I have to say I eat mayonnaise as long as it's spicy. I eat seasoned mayonnaise. You gotta season your mayonnaise if you want me to eat it. I don't just eat unseasoned mayonnaise. So that's what I have to say now. You say I did. Yeah, Diddy liked mayonnaise also. I'm gonna tell you something. I use baby oil when I get out the shower, and I don't really care what Diddy did with it. I'm older than Diddy, so I've been doing it longer. I don't care what he did with baby oil. I'm not gonna stop using baby oil. As a matter of fact, I was so happy. When I was younger, we only had that one baby oil, the Johnson Johnson baby oil, and then as I got older, we got gel baby oil. Oh yeah, and then also use. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Hold on, hold on a minute. Where is my? Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Oh, there it is. Aloe vera gel. Yeah, I like the smell of it. It does the job. Keeps me from being ashy. Aloe vera gel. I was like, you put gel and aloe vera together? Oh my goodness, let's get it. Are we really doing this? Are we really doing what, Jay? What are you talking about, Jay? What is Jay talking about? What are you? What? I'm talking about my knees and my legs and my extremities that I put my aloe vera gel on when I get out the shower. What are you talking about, Jay? Yeah. I think Jay is, what are we doing, Jay? Jay, I know you're there. I know you hear me. I know you hear me. Yeah, nothing now? Oh, okay. All right, nothing. We got you. We're going to let you make it this time. We're going to let you make it this time. So, as I said last night, I still wanted to pick up on it. Petra, go check the vote for me, Petra. Are they still at four holdouts? Are they still officially at four holdouts? Oh no. See, Goddess, you're going down. I'm not going down that rabbit hole with you. I'm not going. I've seen all I need to see. There are five holdouts now? There, hold on. Hold on. Y'all gonna have to go back to C-SPAN for a minute. There are five holdouts right now. And this is just on the procedural vote. That's all I need. You know, and I know I'm gonna say this. Don't be disappointed. Some kind of bill is going to pass. You know, it's a budget. It's a budget reconciliation bill. Some kind of version is going to pass. But one of the things is, as long as they don't get us to his, and I know we have to take the victories we get, but it's the idea that he doesn't get to sign it by July the 4th. That's a win for me. As a win. I'm at the point where any opposition and resistance, we got to take out. I'm taking a win. I'm taking a win. Yep. Long as he doesn't get on his desk by by the 4th of July, I'm gonna consider that a win. All right. Let's see where they at. Mm. All right. This was as of 9:07 p.m. Mm. Breaking news: Republicans no longer to have the votes needed to pass President Trump's big beautiful bill. This comes as four Republicans voted no. Okay, 9:07. Well, I guess it's 9:07. What? I wonder where they posting from. I wonder if that's 11:07 my time. So that means they will be in California, or if it's an old message. All them damn capital letters. I just want to give it up for my chief of security. I, I'm live. I posted the names above. All right, I'll scroll back up. I know why my knees be rough sometimes, but you, cause I'm black. Massey voted. How did Massey vote? They stalled to keep the vote open in order to tire out the House GOP members who have found some backbone. Hmm. I'm in the grocery store and I'm cracking up. Y'all got these crazy people looking at me like I'm crazy. Yep. Good. Good. So back on it. And it's just like I say, it's just a procedural vote, but it's still a if they voting this way on procedures, listen, who all up for me to go to campaigning in Alaska? And I don't think it matters. I look at Murkowski, Senator Murkowski, and that's just the thing. Democrats should be making commercials right. This is why I say Democrats are weak. They should be making commercials right now about how Senator Murkowski got a moratorium for Alaska on this bill. That should tell you how good it is for the rest of the country. That should tell you. I would be putting out the population, the demographics of Alaska, and they got to carve out, but you didn't. Yeah, yeah. So Fitzpatrick was on that. He stood on business. He voted and left. Y'all can't even talk him into changing his vote. Y'all can't even change him. He not sticking around. He don't want to compromise. He don't want any of that. So good. I don't. I just want this bill. I know a version going to pass, and I hope this is what I hope happens. And this is just the most likely scenario. I mean, I know it's an unlikely scenario. Yeah, break it. I want each bill. I want each section of the bill on a vote, straight up and down vote. That's what I want. They could only lose three, and they lost four or five. They don't lose. They can only lose three. I knew when I came on, but see, it hadn't been gavelled, and it still hasn't been gavelled yet. It is. It goes on, and that's why Mike Johnson is stalling, because until the vote is gavelled, it's not official. You can change your vote anytime before the gaveling of the vote. So that's why I'm saying it's nice to hear this right now, but I'm wondering. I still wonder if it's going to hold. I'm not sure it's going to hold until after I hit a gaveling. Because people could be just holding out to go to the White House to talk to Trump in person. They say, "I just held out because I want you to come talk to you." They're weird like that. They're weird like that. It's like, pay me some attention. Pay me some attention, Daddy, and I'll vote the way you want me to. So until it's gavelled, I could go to sleep and wake up in the morning and it's like it's changed. But I doubt I'll be going to sleep until they gavel. You know, Suge Knight speaking out on P. Diddy's trial is really surreal. Has anybody else entered that surreal zone with me? Yeah, it is really surreal. It is really surreal. Like I say, when I looked at the fact that P. Diddy's still in prison, still in jail today, but that also lets me know the judge is going to give him enough time to cover his time served. It's going to give him enough time to cover his time served. So, what else did I make today
So let's
that I wanted y'all to hear? How y'all know
now
about that one?
welcome to my
How y'all know about
series.
that? I only
I
made
still now. So let's talk about
And I said, like I said in this video, if you are, this is a concentration camp. This is a concentration camp. When you throw people into these kind of conditions, and it was like, oh, that looks clean, and it looks, I was like, yeah, of course it looks clean. There's nobody in it. But when you start, but do you notice what you didn't see in those cages? You notice what I didn't see in those cages? Showers or restrooms. And then DeSantis say they're going to be air conditioned. Did you see any central air and heat vents in there? That too. But do you see any central air and heat vents in that? These structures were thrown up in 6 days. 6 days. All right, Jay. See you tomorrow. 6 days. And they say they could have done it quicker if it wasn't for certain regulations. And they're gonna charge $450 million a year to run this prefab. Listen, this is like prefabbed homes. You all know, you get the modular homes and you just put them together. That's what this is. This is not a secure way to house detainees. Not secure, and not from the. You could push. I bet you I could push on that wall hard enough. It's gonna fall down. And it flooded today. What they did was they put up kennels, right? And not even good kennels. Right. Did you see the interview with him where the part where he was talking about he was beating? He was beaten? Yeah. Yep. Was hard to hear even though we knew right. Even though we knew already. And this is it. I didn't, but heard he filed lawsuit. Yeah, and he's still gonna get deported to another country. He's gonna get deported to another country. These are, like we say, this is how concentration camps start. This is how. And then they're so proud that they put them out there. Oh, they can if they we got the alligators on our side. That's the thinking. That's the thinking. Instead of trying to build something to make sure, and then let's just skip past the alligators and all that. The first hurricane that comes through this area, this place is gone, and I'm not even talking about a Category 5 hurricane. The first substantial high Category 1 or 2 hurricane that comes through this area, it's gone because it's going to be pushing water in front of it. I was overwhelmed earlier. I had to take a break and come back. Stop it, goddess. I don't want to know. And it feels like they have are hoping for that. Yes, they claim it will survive a Category 2 hurricane. They said that. How many times have we heard something's going to survive a hurricane and it doesn't? I'm betting a good tropical storm come through there. And and the structure, and the thing is, the structure might survive the hurricane. The structure might survive the hurricane, but the flooding is going to wash through there. And then you're going to have all kinds of things to deal with because if you keep people in this kind of environment, large groups of people in this kind of environment, and you flood it, you're going to have a whole nother series of problems besides the storm. Because a lot of people, if you grow up in areas where hurricanes are prevalent, it's the standing water after hurricanes that is problematic. It could be sunny outside. Usually after a hurricane, it's sunny the next day, hot. It's the South, mosquitoes. You got a whole new set of conditions. I am hoping a good storm tears it down fast. I hope before they're supposed to be moving people in today or tomorrow, and I didn't hear about it today, so it must be tomorrow. Yes, the aftermath of Katrina was just as bad as the storm itself. I'll say it that way. Yeah, and this is the swamp. There's a reason this place was abandoned. The place they built it at, this airstrip that they had these big hopes for, is from the Nixon administration. There's a reason it was abandoned. And they just out there like they forgot. Yeah. Mine too, considering I was on the ground there. I remember flying into the coast because I was actually out of the state for Katrina, and I was flying back in, and we were flying in. We were going to Mobile because we couldn't land in New Orleans. But I remember flying over the coast, and you just looked like somebody just dropped some matchsticks on the ground, and we had to land in Mobile and drive back to Gulfport, and then we went on to New Orleans. And I didn't get into New Orleans until the I want to say the 2nd or 3rd of September, and we were there to help. We went in to help, and we didn't get in to like I know it was 2 or 3 days after the storm had hit, and I remember streaming and talking about and this was the old days. I remember it wasn't just streaming. I was just talking on my space page. Talking about how I didn't think New Orleans would ever be built back. No, I didn't. What did he say? Did he say we are with you? No, I didn't. What did he say? Did he say we are with you? Did he say what I think would say based on who his father is? Yeah, I drove through following morning the casino on Highway 9. The Treasure Bay was crazy. The Treasure Bay. This was, and for y'all who don't know, this was before casinos were land based. So the Treasure Bay Casino had literally been picked up, and this is why casinos got to be land based in Mississippi because of Hurricane Katrina. Katrina picked up Treasure Bay and put it on the other side of Highway 90 neatly. It neatly put the Treasure Bay Casino on the other side of Highway 9, not in the middle of the highway, on the other side of where its new location has been ever since. I will never eat peach cobbler again. Goddess, stop it. Sometimes, Goddess, you got to get to the point where you just walk away. Just walk away from the page. And Siren, what did he say? Is this? I know it's nothing I'm gonna be mad at. Oh man, you sent me a TikTok. Why can't people just give me a summary and let me know? Vanessa on TikTok. I'm so glad. Listen, listen. I am so glad. Hold on. I am so glad that number one, I know history, and I guess let's see if I can find this for you all. Mm, let's see. Hold tight. You don't know my name. But I'm so glad I don't hear anything. Hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Y'all get a behind the scene look at my account. Yes, all those red dots are people that send me things that I have not read yet. And I can't even tell you when I'm gonna read them. Yeah. Some people, like that's new. That's Aisha. She don't have a red dot by her. Petra, I haven't got to yours yet because I don't really need to read yours because they come to my telephone. Let's see if we can get TikTok's help here. What?
We collect
Wow, look what came up
regularly
I gotta hear this.
so that we can, fund the projects that we're working on. So the community garden that we're building, hopefully we'll have that done by November. It's in a low-income area right in front of a Title I school so that people, instead of walking down to the Dollar General and buying a whole bunch of, chips and soda and, unhealthy snacks, they'll be able to stop right there and get fresh fruits and vegetables and, things that are actually going to
Where's Shay?
provide nutrition. And Is this what we would expect to see? What the hell is that?
Shay, where are you?
That's a day at Home Depot, folks. Is this what we seeing? A couple of raised garden beds. There was a $25,000 donation to build a community garden, and this is the $25,000 at work for the community garden. 25 what? U.S. dollars?
You sent me an email on Monday. Yeah, I gotta go check my email. I check my work email. I don't. I need to go check my email. But I did not try to do that, y'all. I was trying to get to the Mondani video. I guess I gotta go back. Hold on. I was trying to get to this video. I don't even know what the other video came up from.
New York City! How are we doing? It is such a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Zora Mamdani.
Mondani!
And I'm here to say that as the next mayor of this city, I will be proud to stand up for Haitian New Yorkers every
Called it AT.
What's that, New York
They
City?
called it AT. Listen, listen, listen. And I will admit, fighting for something and winning for it are two different things, but it's the idea that you have, if you're going to tell political big whoppers, tell them in the fact that he means everything he says. Even though I know the limitation of him fighting for TP, um, it's the idea that he's willing to take it on. It's the idea, and then to understand he knows Haitian history enough to, like, you all taught us about freedom because you were the first country in the Western Hemisphere to overthrow the master's oppression. Whew. The people like him. I, I I'm serious, and I've been studying his father, and I like his father. Um, he just reminds me of those classic revolutionaries that I've studied, and don't get me wrong. This is a politician and he's polished, right? In all the right ways, though. But I actually believe he believes what he's saying. And that means something. But the idea of what he just said, even if he says the same thing to every community, if he knows enough about every community, New York is a melting pot. And not in the way that we mean America is a melting pot. Because when I talk about the American melting pot, I talk about assimilation. When I talk about the New York, I'm talking about the various cultures that merge together at the edges of each culture. They're not too, they don't blend as far as they exist in the same pot. If you know what I mean, it's a difference. But man, to hear him reach out, I just can't. And he has the young Jewish vote too. He has the young Jewish vote. But we'll see how this plays out because they're going to throw everything they can at him. And they're going to do everything they can to him. Do you know how rare it is to hear somebody talk about denaturalization of somebody? Even in criminal circles, the things you have to do to get denaturalized after you become a citizen of the United States are extreme. And just because he won an election, we're already talking about denaturalization. Culturally speaking, he has already spoken on several communities and does it contextually. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I watched several of his speeches while he was running for office. He does a good job. Like I say, I believe he believes most of what he says. Um, the reality of it is, are the people. My thing is, it's never about just a politician to me. It's about people. People think voting in this country is the end all be all. It's not. It's not. People vote and don't understand they people don't understand we the people. That's why I'm a student of Fred Hampton and not a lot of these other people y'all listen to. The power lies with the people. And people have abdicated their power for so long because they're voting on hope. They're voting on hope. I hope. No, you vote with intent. You vote not on hope, but on mastery of a system. And that mastery requires you to show up every day after the vote. It requires you to show up. It requires you. President Obama. I remember being in Chicago the first year, the first election President Obama won, and I remember the feeling in some Millennial Park and how people were just so charged and energized. And then I remember symbolically, because we came back the next day, just going downtown, and I remember seeing all the trash in Millennial Park, and they had a couple of people, city people out there cleaning up. And I was like, this is symbolic. This is symbolic. They elected Barack Obama, he won, you partied, and then you went home and left somebody else to deal with all the trash. And that's exactly how I felt after the first 4 years and after the next 8 years. It's like you symbolically think. Siren and I was talking today about some other things, and Kamala Harris came up. So I'm gonna talk about the safe part of this conversation. And we were talking about how it still wouldn't have been enough to get elect a president. And that's why I tell people, if you all are still having the same conversations now about when every time something horrible happens and your first response is to it, what they voted for this, when are the adults going to enter back into the chat? When are the adults entering back into the chat and say something like, I don't care what they voted for. How is it affecting us and what are we going to do about it? Power is always with the people. And when we take that power, we do what we must, good or bad. But my pushback on that, Amy, is I've never seen the people wield power. I've seen them continue to put their hopes and aspiration on representatives and make them leaders. But see, that's the whole thing. That's why I have a whole different mantra when it comes to leadership and when it comes to we the people's power, right? Because I realize that the mantra cripples us more as well as it enables us, but most of us go for the crippling. We don't follow people that we should, and we don't give our power, we don't give them the right to wield our power to the people who should. We give our power to the people that only have self-interest. Yes, we the people, we have to focus our power through true leadership. It's true. We can't get around it. All of us can't run around here and say, we all on one accord. No, you have some people don't have vision to understand what the accord is. And a lot of people don't like when I say that or how I talk because they feel like I am insulting them. But at the end of the day, a scalpel has to be welded by one hand. That doesn't mean you can't have your hand on my shoulders, you can't have your hands here, or you can't be putting in, the power you have. But when too many people try to weld the scalpel, you know who get the scalpel, you know who gets hurt? Not the people you're trying to weld it against, but the people you're welding it for. Because everybody wants to put, no, you have to have that. And we don't. We don't because we believe master and the system of oppression telling us that we don't need leadership while they have leadership. We buy into it. You know how many people have come to me and say, "Oh, I don't need no leader. I know how to do. I'm just gonna do what we do." Who is we? Who is we? And you talk to them and you realize you're not even going in the right direction of the problem. Why you say you don't need leadership? You're not even going. You don't even have a vision to create in your mind a society to work towards. But you don't need leadership. And that's one of the ways that I watch the system of oppression keeps us oppressed because they make sure the people that you should be listening to are never the people you listen to. I tell people, when the oppressor picks a leader for the oppressed, that is the last person you should be following. You should be following the person that the oppressor fears, not the person that they like, yes, we can work with you because you're going to compromise with us. Who is this we? We're gonna have to get shirts with some kind of variation of that on. And fear waiting for someone else to step up and no one then steps up, so we're stuck. No, we have people that stick up. I stand up. A lot of us stand up. But at the end of the day, you, they still resent it. I find out that, listen, I have been in leadership positions all my life, from street organizations to all kinds of situations, right? And usually, when I do get people to come on board, they stay on board. It's not a problem. The people that truly like, listen, my chief of security has been part of my leadership journey ever since we were in Lackland together, and I have not changed. He's seen it up close and personal. He sees that when I lead, I care about the people I lead. I care about them enough not to run suicide missions and I care about them enough to know that, hey, I just need you all to stand back. I'm better at this than you all. I will get the door open. I don't need your help. And none of them will resent that. But that when I meet people, and it's like the people I bump up against are the people who I say, you're not leading. You're just in this for yourself. You're not thinking about the people that are putting their faith in you. You're just like, how can I look good? How can I get good? And that's a failure of leadership when you're talking about revolution. And that's the thing. Amy, I know I understand what you're talking about, but sometimes it's like we have to elevate ourselves to the next level. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do that cohesively, because it's like we we always look outside of ourselves. We always look. Fred Hampton could have led us to revolution. Fred Hampton alone could have led us to revolution. And what happened? And it wasn't just, and I'm not considering a failure that the oppressor takes you out. The failure was that they didn't step up enough. And this thing called revolution, and in a lot of my idols, it's not a failure of their leadership, it's a failure of their following to truly understand the nature of the problem. I talk about Medgar Evers a lot and Fred Hampton in the same breath, right? Because William O'Neill should have been dead. If you know, you know. William O'Neill, the sister should have shot William O'Neill in that car when she first doubted him. When she first doubted him, she should have shot him. No questions asked. Because that's the kind of understanding you have to have. Medgar Evers shouldn't have died on his own. He shouldn't have been shot at his own home, because brothers shouldn't have been letting Medgar travel around by himself in the first place. You got to show up and say, listen, brother, you got the vision. I trust the vision, and I'm going to make sure I make it safe around you. They should have been people. Medgar Evers' brothers should have been protecting his home when he wasn't there. They should have had shifts to travel around with him. And you don't understand. Medgar was. We can go back to the Emmett Till trial. We can go back to registering to people to vote in Mississippi. We can go back to when Medgar came home after the army and tried to get into university and denied him. All that. This man was there, present. And everybody shows up at his funeral. You show up at his funeral. Where were you at in his life besides talking about the things he was doing? They talked about the things he was doing. They loved the things he was doing. But what are you doing to support the things he's doing? Medgar did all that and had to work a job too. Listen to me. Medgar did everything he did and had to work also. Just imagine what he could have did if they would have freed him up from that. Can y'all hear that? I can't hear it. I don't have the headphones on. I never understood why they didn't protect him better. And I'm gonna tell you this is why. I'm gonna tell you why. They couldn't conceive it. What's up, Shane? They couldn't conceive it. They couldn't conceive the idea, because even in their brightest moments, they were still playing from the handbook that the oppressor gave them to fight the oppressor. They couldn't conceive it because, on the level, the oppressor is the oppressed still fears visionaries. The oppressed, listen to me, the oppressed still fears visionaries. The oppressed fears any black man like myself that says you must move out of your place of comfort. We cannot win in your place of comfort. And that's why you all gravitate towards people that try to have you maintain your comfort level while selling you the illusion of revolution. That's why you follow people to say, oh, it's revolutionary to sit out. You know why they have so many? It's because that allows them to maintain their comfort level. You get to maintain it. You get to make your inaction look revolutionary, and that's good enough. But see, Shay, I challenge you, and you're older than me. I challenge you. I challenge everybody that says they support me and follow me. I personally challenge you all on a regular basis because I can't let you get comfortable in a fight. And Shay, and you're one of the most experienced ones, Shay. You understand exactly what we talk about. When we were talking the other day, you get it. But we still must challenge it. It's like I tell somebody, and I'm about to nerd out. I tell somebody, I was talking about Wonder Woman and her lasso of truth. And I think I told you all this before. And one thing about the lasso of truth is it burns. It burns when you lie. It burns. It burns the lie out of you. And I said, you know who she uses her lasso of truth on the most? Is herself. That's one thing about the mythos that they don't. Every day, Diana takes that lasso and binds herself with it and makes sure she is true to the path that she has carved out for herself. Do that every day to myself, every day, every passage, every week. When I get off live some nights and I've chastised you all and we get, I question myself about, are you doing this for the right reasons? They unalived MLK after he said, I fear I lead my people into a burning house. He said that to Harry Belafonte, Kenny, and that's not why they unalived him. They unalived him when he went to Chicago and he started telling people to divest, telling black people to divest. It wasn't just the fear of burning. And what did he tell Harry Belafonte? Since we want to have a conversation, what did he tell Harry Belafonte when Harry Belafonte asked him, what should we do? And I'm going to show you why they didn't fear him at that moment. They didn't fear him at that moment. Yes, he said, I feel like I have led my people into a burning house. And Harry Belafonte asked him, integrated my people into a burning house. And Harry Belafonte said, well, what do we do now? And at that moment, he said, we become firefighters. Y'all have talked about this before. And I said at that moment would have been when TNathan would have said, everybody go get some sticks, some chocolates, some mushrooms, some marshmallows, and we're going to watch it burn and make s'mores. That's why they didn't fear it. But once he talked about two Americas when he was in Stanford in 66, in 67, sorry, when he was in Stanford and he talked about two Americas, when he was in Memphis and he was talking about divesting of Coca-Cola and white banks and reinvesting in our communities and making our dollars circulate for us, that's when King had to die. The king from the Poor People's March, the I Have a Dream king, he wasn't a threat. He wasn't a threat. The king that talked about two Americas, the king that talked about the white man telling him that poor people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and King turning to him and saying, but you took our boots. That was the king that was dangerous. King was not dangerous in 54. King was not dangerous in 63. King was dangerous when he started talking about two Americas. King was dangerous when he started to understand that riots were the vital voice of the oppressed. That King was dangerous. When King went on NBC and they asked him about his approach to nonviolence, and for the first time he answered that my approach to nonviolence right now is about practicability. He didn't say it was about God. He didn't say it was about morals. He was like, it was just not practical at that moment to be violent because he understood that for so long he had been teaching nonviolence that people wouldn't even know how to protect themselves with violence. That's when King became the king I love. That's when King made that transition from having the voice. Because if you look at the fact that The Gallup poll in the year of his death, he was only polling at 33% approval rating in this country. He had a worse approval rating than Donald Trump has ever had. And that was about a lot of white people who say their grandparents were out there marching with King. I was like, show me the pictures. Show me the pictures. Because all y'all, if y'all all the grandparents was out there marching with him, he would have had a 93% approval rating. And he didn't. I always thought it was odd. King went when he was moving towards it, and when Malcolm was moving away. You two are dangerous. Keep your head on a swivel because they scared. Uh, it's kind of a misnomer, Kenny, that El Hajj Malik Shabazz was moving away. It wasn't that he was moving away. He was expanding his vision. See, before we can do this all day. And as a matter of fact, I have a book for you. I have a book I recommend for you. It's called The Sword and the Shield. The story of Malcolm and Martin. And the thing about it is that Malcolm and Martin, when he met with Coretta, because y'all know El Hajj Shabazz met with Coretta while Dr. King was in Birmingham in prison, in jail. When he met with Coretta, and that's why I always, there's another reason. I know there's a lot of side stories to this, and I can do this all day, but that's why I always say black women have always been at the forefront of the movement towards black liberation. We don't tell their stories because we frame the fight in the viewpoint of men. I frame the fight in the viewpoint of truth. Coretta was the one who told Mal El Hajj Shabazz that she understood his dichotomy to Dr. King. He said she was the one who said, we have to win this fight. And we either can win it the way Martin wants to or the way you want to. But in the end, it's going to take both of you all to win it. That's what she told him. And so when you look at the fact that El Hajj Malik Shabazz, people think he was moving away. No, he was moving towards a universal truth that number one, oppression is the problem. Number two, that when he went to Mecca and he realized that Islam embraced more than what Elijah Muhammad had been preaching in NOI and the hate that he preaching in, that's when a transition came over him and he started to realize this is not just an American problem. This is a worldwide phenomenon of anti-blackness, and the oppressor is the purveyor. And he took on this role that transcended the role he was when he was even just Malcolm X. When he became El Hajj Malik Shabazz, he began to understand. And that's when he said, I will join with anybody who wants to change this miserable condition upon this earth. I put that in my videos a lot of time. That's when he became the idol of people like Fannie Lou Hamer, when she had been preaching that. And this is another thing I talk about the women of the movement. Fannie Lou Hamer had been saying that none of us are free until all of us are free. And then when El Hajj Malik Shabazz embraced that idealism, she was already there. He got there. And that's what I say. When people think he's moving away, no, he understood that it was going to take more than just a revolutionary of ideas. This was going to retire a revolution of actions on a worldwide scale. I am from Bama. I love the stories, the truth. Oh, you from Bama, Kenny? Or next door to where I came of age at? I used to live in Montgomery. It's just like now. People always stay in background instead of stepping up. Mm, no. I think my response to that is that I'll give it to you in an Ashanti proverb. And I think Aisha will understand this one. Ashanti proverb say, if you want to build the perfect body, you have to get every part to want to be perfect. That means the thumb has no other greater aspirations than to be the greatest thumb it can be. The toe has no aspiration except to be the best toe it can be. It doesn't desire to be an ear. It desires to play its part in harmony and perfection. Strategy is what we're lacking because nobody wants to follow strategy because everybody thinks they're the head or the brains. And that's not true. We have proven that. Jesse Jackson should have never been elevated to anybody calling him a leader of the black community. The man who dipped his shirt in the blood of Malcolm, the man who dipped his shirt in the blood of a king to say he cradled his head while he was dying and he told him to carry the torch should have been thrown off the Lorraine Hotel balcony head first. I wish Ralph Abernathy would have thrown Jesse Jackson off the balcony head first. They should have been two ambulances coming that day to take away two dead bodies. Because when Snick, y'all know who Snick is, when Snick and King's organization said they were going to stay there that day and wait for Coretta and not do anything, and Jesse got his ass on a plane back to Chicago and showed up at a with at the news station with blood, talking about this is Dr. King's blood because I was cradling him like they're not pictures that was not the case. Sorry, y'all know how I feel about Jesse. Yeah, I know. I can go on about Jesse. But this goes back to me saying how when the oppressor tells you who our leaders should be, there is a reason why you should never listen. So each part is so important in its own. And that's it. And a lot of times, because we have been conditioned by the oppressor to believe, and this is how it works. It's like we've been conditioned by the oppressor to believe, oh, anybody can lead. I'll just follow anybody. Or anybody. And it's the same on this app. It's the same on this app. It's a microcosm in this app by people that choose to follow people that can't even tell you the year of the Haitian Revolution. You follow people that have no idea that when the 14th Amendment was even ratified, much less what it actually did. You all follow people whose idea is a library card because they don't have their own books. You follow people that cannot rattle off this history like I do just off the top of their head. You follow people that have to go look up what happened on April 4th, 1968. You follow those people. These are the people. You follow people that maggots, not Trump ultra, not the higher echelon of MAGA that actually is educated. Y'all follow people who are maggots and can't string together a straight thought about any policy that is not a talking point. And you can't dismantle. I routinely dismantle people in front of you all to show you all how it's done. I routinely do that. What was his name the other night? Last night, what was his name? The one last night that came in with all these analogies and talking about this and that. Dismantle. Listen, I can dismantle him in the background while still talking to you all in the foreground about something. Paid actors. The sword and the shield? Yes. Are you are you asking to see my copy? Bella's lunch. Which one is this? This one. Yes, I have the sword and the shield. Uh, uh, You're gonna have me rearranging. You're gonna have me rearranging my whole library. And then, listen, I'm looking it up on Audible. I can't tell you what's on Audible. Love the book recommendations. We need a book club. I don't think y'all want to be a part of my book club. The last book club I had didn't want to be. They were like, I require too much in a short time. Yeah, I'll be like, okay, we're gonna sign a book on Friday. And Monday, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, I'm gonna sign the book after I finish talking about the one on Monday, and you got the next Monday to be ready. But and my problem with book clubs, and my problem with book clubs, is that the book is only a reference point. There, I can talk about like the Sword and the Shield. The Sword and the Shield is about these two men's life and about the jinx part thereof, right? So a lot of it is a history lesson, and it's not a history lesson in the way some people believe it is. I tell people all the time, I learned what didn't work. I love Dr. King, but I also understand the flaws of his philosophy and why they also hurt us. I love El Hajj Malik Shabazz, but I recognize the flaws of his philosophy were just the opposite. He didn't trust himself to go far enough. King didn't trust himself, didn't trust himself when he broke out of that mode to share that he had broke out of that mode with everybody until it was through. He tried to do it subtly. King tried to get us to the point by his words, because you go back and look at his words the last year of his life, and you look at the words he spoke in at the Poor People's Campaign and leading up into that, there was a great shift in his message. But a lot of people don't call it because y'all too busy going out here quoting "I have a dream." Every kindergartner can quote "I have a dream" in black communities. But to Americas was so relevant. But he was trying to do it on an intellectual means that the people who were still holding on to his dream didn't want to hear. So they heard what they want to hear. People have always contextualized when he says that the riots are the voice of the unheard. They contextualize that, right, in a way in which, if you listen to the context in which he said it, and he said, I also understand those voices. I understand those. I cannot get onto them without getting onto the system that created them. But people contextualize that. They were saying, oh, he wasn't straying from the dream. That was so far from the dream as to be in another dimension. And by the same token, Malcolm was contextualized more in content in the elements of NOI than he was when he adopted true Islam. We talk about Malcolm in his NOI years when he was misled by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I say it with great sarcasm, just in case you didn't know. Instead of in the years when he broke from the Nation of Islam and found himself in true Islam as a Sunni, and we understood the transition, but we didn't understand the transition. Side note, news talking about Johnson is crashing out over these holdout votes, and they are not taking talking out good. What are your thoughts on Doctor's friend? Oh man, you want me to find my book on him too? I'm gonna tell you, and I think it falls under this, Aisha. It falls under the idea that, like, a lot of people don't know who this is, and I'll go in depth on it later. I will go in depth in him. I'll pull my book, but my idealism is they all are rooted in a certain idealism that is still the basis of compromise with the oppressor. TikTok hates you. They're still rooted. I tell people all the time, for the time period, they were revolutionary. Don't get me ever wrong. Even in his passivity, Dr. King was revolutionary in idealism because of how he wanted black people to look at him. James Baldwin was who I listened to at first. And this is, and Aisha, we're gonna come back to that because this is a great. We can have a great discussion on that. But it's a nuanced discussion that I don't want to lose people in right now because I want to get to James Baldwin too. But just say that they were rooted in their time, And then they are the foundation that we draw from now. And they're the one of the reasons why we have to be able to learn what didn't work and not repeat it. And a lot of people, when I hear people say, I wish we had a Malcolm now, we don't need a Malcolm now. We need a now. We need a now. James Baldwin. James Baldwin, you said you listened to James Baldwin. And I'm going to praise James Baldwin and also be critical of him at the same time. Because Nikki Giovanni, if you really want to listen to somebody from that James period, you should have listened to Nikki Giovanni, right? And it's not to take anything from James Baldwin, but James Baldwin acknowledged his rooting in the patriarchy that he had to deal with. James Baldwin also ran from racism. He thought running from to Europe, and he talks about it. He thought running to Europe was going to liberate him from racism to France, only to get there and discover that anti-blackness is a worldwide phenomenon. And he was delusional at first. And it takes this. I'm not criticizing the thought process. I'm just showing you thought process and how, you know, that he did that. He ran from racism because he said he was a writer and he couldn't write in the States because of the block caused by worrying about racism all the time. The reality of the situation is 2 weeks, Kansas City. Am I talking about the racism that James Baldwin experienced? Uh, Lady Gaga, read the room. Read the room. So you get to the fact when James Baldwin came to the realization, then yes, we talking about go tell it on the mountain, the fire next time, all that, right? We're talking about that. But that was after a realization that racism and anti blackness was a worldwide phenomenon and you couldn't run away from it. You couldn't run away from it. You ran to France, a country that still had a colony in Algeria. That still had a colony because they had colonized. Algeria was not liberated when James Baldwin went to France thinking he was escaping racism. And to realize that. So James Baldwin is good to listen to. Don't get me wrong. James Baldwin has written some of the most dynamic intellectual discord conversations on racism. And when he was on the Merv Griffin show and he dismantled racists in America in between a cigarette break is spectacular to watch. But Nikki Giovanni was light years ahead of him. Nikki Giovanni, all right, Reese. Nikki Giovanni understood the problem of the patriarchy and racism all at the same time. And that's one thing black women bring to the table that no one can ever take from them. They bring to the table not just the understanding of racism, but the intersectionality with the patriarchy. And they understand white men second only to black men. I think black women understand white men better than white women ever will understand white men. The mediocrity of them that other people don't want to take into account because black women have had to deal with it in their love hate relationship of black women. They love them to fetishize, but they hate them when they speak up. That's why they stuck balls in their mouths on the passage to America because they understood the power of a black woman's tongue when it came to rallying people towards revolution. So, side note, West African history, but the idea and it's nothing. And that's why I say we have been allowed to view the revolution to the eyes of the patriarchy because, in essence, they always hope you find an identifying factor with the patriarchy. That's why I drag hoteps all the time because hoteps are not interested in eliminating oppression. They're just interested in switching places with the oppressor. What do you say? Hold on. Hold on. What's he saying? The whole we can agree to disagree as long as the disagreement isn't my argument. We can agree to disagree as long as our disagreement is not rooted in my humanity. I miss Nikki Giovanni. I love her poems. Who is this woman, Nikki Giovanni? Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on just a moment. Did he say who is this woman, Nikki? Who is this Nikki Giovanni you speak of? Y'all know I gotta go there, right? Y'all know I gotta go there. I have the whole conversation. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh, I could pull it up, but I don't feel like it. I'll give you a taste of it. Let me give you a taste of it.
And here again is the producer of soul, Ellis Hazel.
Oh,
Hard because you got
hold
a divorce.
on. Hold on just a minute. Hey, what's up, YouTube? We out of here, YouTube. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you later. Peace.